Hi there. Welcome to this guided relaxation nervous system reset. I'm so glad you're here. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're not going to be moving very much. This isn't an asana-based practice. This is more a breath and visualization based practice. If you think about for a moment the ways that you relax, the ways that you wind down, that you balance action and activity with rest and relaxation. Those activities that you do, the whatever it looks like for you. Think about the different ways now that you relax and what you label as relaxation. So it turns out that a lot of the ways that we typically deem relaxation, aren't actually engaging our parasympathetic nervous system, which is very important to keeping the nervous system balanced and staying out and keeping out of a chronic stress pattern. Most of the times when folks are asked what they do to relax, they answer watching TV, reading a book, scrolling on their phone or the internet, drinking wine or alcohol of some sorts, maybe a beach vacation if that's within your means, maybe a more solitude vacation, maybe in the woods in a cabin somewhere. So when we watch TV, when we read a book, when we're on the internet, our sympathetic nervous system is still engaged. Our our nervous system is not getting the signal that it's in repair mode, that it's in rest mode, and so that it's repairing itself so that it can go back to action and activity. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about when we sleep, right? Sleep is a super important way that we balance action and activity. And that's true. And sleep hygiene is super important. So, yes, while we require anywhere from about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, of good sleep a night, deep sleep, and that's if you want to get into sleep, then that's different portions of REM sleep and beyond. Our nervous systems still require that while we are conscious, while we are awake, that we engage in activities that are stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system and not the sympathetic. And so these practices that we're about to do together truly engages the parasympathetic nervous system. Using breath is a very easy, most of the times free way to balance the nervous system, to engage in restful activities, or at least to get us to a more balanced state. Um, and a guided visualizations that are these are ancient yogic practices, been around for over 5,000 years, but more recently have been studied and measured cortisol levels, um, and observational methods um, that have shown to have a positive effect on stress reduction, and then other markers like heart disease, diabetes, things like that. Um, but I'm more interested in feeling good day to day, in having our periods of creation, of action and activity feel good and don't feel like we're running on empty. And so this type of practice helps reset the nervous system, rewire the nervous system so that we can participate fully in our lives without feeling on edge, without feeling stressed. So we'll start. So I'll let you know what the whole thing is going to look like, just so there are no surprises. You can opt in for all part or none of the practices. If you want to take this opportunity to lay down and do your own version of rest, I'm not going to stop you. I will say if you have any bit, if that is you, and you have any bit of curiosity as you're laying down, please jump in and out of the guided visualization to just try it. Again, you don't have to. So first, we're going to reestablish a proper breathing pattern. Most of us don't know how to breathe. Uh, we don't breathe with the diaphragm, which is really imperative to activating the parasympathetic fibers in the more caudal lower lungs. So we're going to do a few exercises, one technique called dirga pranayama or three-part yogic breath. And this has been studied in many different research projects, this particular breath, this diaphragmatic breathing, and has countless benefits. But it's a really just great way to realize how you're breathing. Um, Often when I'm doing nothing, instead of when I go, my instinct is to grab my phone, I try to stop and instead practice this type of breathing because it is so important uh, to our health and wellness. And so we're going to practice that three-part breathing, that diaphragmatic breath. And then we're going to take it, we're going to flip-flop a little bit. We're going to increase the pressure against our bellies and against our diaphragms to work this diaphragm muscle even more. I say work, it's not going to hopefully not feel like work. It's just going to feel like a little bit of pressure against you to get a deeper breath. It's a way to get a deeper breath, to make this feel, to make this more impactful. Um, like I said, we're going to flip flop. So after that, we're going to sit up again, feel the difference, go into child's pose, feel the difference in breathe in doing the three-part breath in that pose. And then we're going to go on to lay down onto our backs. And if you have a bolster or pillow available that can help you get into a comfortable position, place a bolster or pillow under the knees, back of the neck, whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Please do that. And we'll do what's called a pranic sensitivity guided relaxation, where you'll be instructed by me to visualize the breath moving up and down the body in a particular pattern. And then after that, you have an option. You have an option to, like I said, through this whole series, you can participate in all part or none. But at that point, if you're feeling so relaxed that you would like to take the last part, laying down, please do. If you could try to not fall asleep, you might be triggered too, and if you do, then you fall asleep, and that's fine. But if you can stay awake, to stay conscious while doing the last part, which is called Aharna Pranayama. It's a little bit like Yoga Nidra, if any of you have ever practiced that. It's just taking a full deep breath at different parts of the body that I will name. Just one breath, inhale and exhale, flowing through the body at different parts. So it's very much like the pranic sensitivity, yet different. Uh, and so if you'd like to lay down for that last part, I'll let you know. You can stay lying down. If you'd like to sit up and you're more of a meditator or you would just like to be more awake and not risk maybe falling asleep, please sit up. I think that's it. We can get started. So finding a comfortable seat, if you could see, I'm sitting up on a bolster. Um, and getting comfortable sitting on the floor can be a challenge for a lot of us, and it's quite important. So if your knees are hurting, if your hips are hurting, if your body's in any way that it's going to be talking to you as you're trying to go inward, that can be a problem. And so please, sitting up on something can solve a lot of those problems. Just having your hips higher than the rest of your legs takes the pressure off of our psoas muscle and off of our joints. So try that. You can see I'm sitting with one knee bent, leg back, one leg bent forward. For some reason, this is one of the most comfortable ways I can sit. Sometimes that changes, but figure out what's the most comfortable for you to have a straight spine, sitting up tall, maybe placing the hands, the backs of the hands on the knees, and taking 3 deep, grounding breaths. Closing your eyes if that feels okay to you. If not, maybe just softening your gaze. Again, spine is tall. Tailbone might be a little bit tucked under to make the spine be tall. Sternum lifted slightly. The front ribs, if they're sticking out, you can flatten those a bit. Widening through the collarbones, shoulders draw back down and in. Back of the neck is long. And we're just simply moving from engaging in the outer world with all of our senses, with our eyes, with our ears, all with our touch, with everything. We want to just head inward. Begin by relaxing the belly. That's really important to this next breath, that we're not holding any tension or tightness in our belly. Of course, if you've been doing that your whole life, and this is the first time you've tried not to, it might be difficult, and that's okay. Just do your best. And to begin this 3-part yogic breath, we're going to first place our hands on our lowermost ribs, our belly, sides of the waist here. And now most of us, when we inhale, notice if your shoulders rise, if your chest rises. We're going to see if we can do the opposite. We're going to see if, as we inhale, if the diaphragm can push in so the belly goes out. And on exhale, we gently draw the navel to the spine. So without any rigidity, without a lot of pressure, see if you can gently inhale, relaxing the belly and pushing your hands out. Your hands are on your belly. And you'll know if you're successful here if your chest, if your shoulders aren't going up at all. You're not seeing them rise at all on inhalation or exhalation for that matter. Try that a few more times. Deep inhale, just into this area of the lungs, just into the belly and the lower lungs. All through the nose, smooth, deep, continuous breath. Good, nice work. Now we're going to move our hands up to the middle ribs. And again, we're going to try to send our breath just into the middle ribs here, pushing our hands and the sides of the waist outward. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Our breath is smooth, it's even, it's continuous. And our shoulders are not moving up and down. Our diaphragm is moving down on inhalation, which pushes the belly out. But right here, we're just trying to push the breath into the middle lungs. Okay, good. And now the last part, we're just going to send the breath into the belly, middle lungs, and then finally the upper lungs. So try that a few times. Take a deep inhale into the lower lungs, middle, and upper. A few more times, just like that. Again, relaxing all the muscles in the face, in the tongue, the jaw, the shoulders. Relax around the breath. See if you can find that place of effortless effort. Okay, good. And bring the hands down and just take a few recovery breaths. If we're not used to working the diaphragm in this way, it can actually be a little tiring. So just whatever type of breathing you just need to do right now to just relax your diaphragm for a little bit. Okay, and what we're going to do next is we're going to separate the breath into thirds. And so we're going to breathe a third of the breath into the lower lungs, pause briefly. A third of the breath into the upper lungs, pause briefly. Breathe the rest of the breath into the chest and upper lungs, and then exhale all the breath out, gently drawing the navel to the spine. And when we do that, when we draw the navel to the spine, we're exhaling all the breath out of the lungs to set us up for a really good inhale on the next breath. And when we pause, it's going to be extremely brief. Any type of elongated pausing in when we're practicing breath work, if we're doing elongated breath retention, it can have the opposite of a relaxing effect. So we're not going to be trying to really do any breath holds here. Just a gentle pause. So let's try that again. We'll try it for the first time. Exhaling all the breath out to start, and then inhale a third of the breath into the lower lungs, pause. A third of the breath into the middle, pause. Inhale the rest of the breath into the upper lungs and exhale all the breath out. Let's try that again. Inhaling into the lower lungs, a third of the breath, pause. Inhaling a third of the breath into the middle lungs, pause. Inhaling a third of the breath into the upper lungs and exhaling all the breath out. Try that 3 more times at your own pace. This goes a lot easier, obviously, if you breathe at your own pace. And as we breathe into the lower and middle lungs, make sure we're getting into the sides of the waist, maybe into the back. Really expand your inhale. Feel the expansion in between, in the intercostal space between the ribs. Really using your lungs to the fullest extent, accessing all those parasympathetic fibers that exist in the deeper part of the lungs that we don't normally get to access. Okay, and when you've done that breath 3 times, again, hands come down, take a few recovery breaths, and just feel. Can you notice anything different? Maybe not. Maybe you can notice it in your more subtle energy body rather than on a physical level. Okay, and now a few breaths like that without any pauses. So just a full deep inhale. Inhaling, pushing the diaphragm down, the belly out into the lower, middle, upper lungs. Exhale, drawing the belly to the spine. Try that a few times. Spine tall, back of the neck long, shoulders draw back, down and in. Good. Now we're going to come on to the floor. So if you have a mat or just a blanket on the floor, that's all you need. And we're going to get down onto the floor, starting in Sphinx pose. So with our hands, our forearms just flat on the floor, and just the lower belly is touching the floor at this point. The tops of your feet are on the floor, your pelvis is on the floor, and maybe just the lowermost ribs. So let's try that breath again with just this pressure against the lowermost lungs and see how that feels. Taking a deep inhale into the lower lungs, middle, upper lungs, and exhaling all the breath out. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the pressure on the lower lungs? Try that again. Again, our breath is even. Our breath is continuous. There are no pauses at the top of the inhale, the bottom of the exhale. Our breath is quiet, it's smooth. Good. Come down another level now. So we're not totally on the floor in Makarasana or crocodile pose. Our arms are still there, but now both our lower and our middle lungs are against the floor. So now try breathing just like this. Again, inhaling into the lower lungs, middle lungs, upper lungs. Exhaling all the breath out. Can you feel that difference? Shoulders are relaxed, drawn away from the ears. It should feel a bit more challenging, right? Like our diaphragm is a muscle that we're building. So now for this last part, if you feel comfortable, make a little pillow with your hands, one hand on top of the other, and then your forehead is going to come down onto your hands. And now as you're doing that, you're fully in Makarasana or crocodile pose, taking that breath again. So fully inhaling into the lower, middle, upper lungs. Nice. Now we're going to gently come up and pull back into child's pose. And your knees can be a little bit wide. Hands stretch out in front of you. If you can, your forehead reaches to the floor. If not, that's okay. You can even put your hands again, make a little pillow with your hands, and your forehead can come down your hands. And now try this breath again in this pose. Inhaling deeply into the lower lungs, middle, and upper. Exhaling all the breath out. And notice how it feels different than lying in Makarasana, right? We have a bit more space for the belly to expand in this position, but we still feel a little bit of pressure building the muscle. Just a few more breaths in child's pose. Good. Now gently come sit up onto your knees if that's comfortable. If not, just a seated pose. And again, we're just tuning in. Can you feel what just about 10 minutes of purposeful diaphragmatic breathing can do to your subtle energy, to your physical energy? Again, this is truly tapping into our parasympathetic nervous system. It seems quite simple, and it is. Good. And now we're going to come onto our backs, and you're going to lie flat back down, however feels most comfortable. If you have any lower back tenderness or tightness, you might want to put something underneath your knees that can feel comfortable. You can even have a pillow underneath your head. Again, we're just laying back into a way that feels most comfortable. I'm going to sit up. You continue to lay back and just really take whatever little last kind of motions, fidgeting, whatever you need to do to get comfortable. Make yourself 10% more comfortable. Maybe you need a blanket. Get the blanket. We're going to be here for a little bit. Maybe you need to reposition your head. Take the time to do that. It's okay. And when you're ready, again, closing the eyes or softening the gaze. And come back to this breath with less effort this time. We're just paying attention to the breath and we're making it first even. Maybe if we're inhaling to a count of 4 or 5, that's the same length of the exhale. So try that. Make the breath smooth. Try as hard as you can to have a certain amount of gentleness to your breath. Make sure the breath is quiet. It's through the nose if possible. And it feels good. It feels supportive. Relaxing the top of the head, relaxing the eyes, relaxing the jaw, the tongue, relaxing the shoulders. And coming into this visualization, bring all of your attention, all of your awareness to your feet. Feel every bit of your feet, the toes, the soles of the feet, the heels, continuing to breathe smoothly. And the next time you inhale, without changing the length of the breath, you're simply going to ride your awareness like a wave up your body from the toes, from the feet to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you're going to follow this flow of awareness from the crown of your head down your body to your feet. So try that a few times, just inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. When you're done with your inhale, you're at the crown of the head. As you begin to exhale, you might go through the parts of your body like the center of your forehead, the nostrils, the throat, the heart, the pelvis, the knees, the feet, right? So as smooth as possible, inhaling from feet to crown, exhaling from crown to feet, moving with the flow of awareness, the flow of prana. And the next time you exhale, exhale down to the knees. Inhaling from knees up the body, moving with the flow of prana, the flow of awareness, up the body to the crown, exhaling from crown to knees. Our breath is smooth, even, deep. It's quiet. It's continuous. There are no pauses. And the next time you exhale beginning at the crown and exhale down to the pelvis, the hips. Inhaling from hips to crown, exhaling from crown to pelvis, moving with the flow of prana, the flow of awareness. The next time you exhale, beginning at the crown, exhale all the breath out from crown to navel, your belly. Inhaling from navel to crown, exhaling from crown to navel, moving with the flow of awareness. Inhale from the navel to the crown. Exhale from crown to heart center. Inhaling from heart to crown, moving with the flow of prana, the flow of awareness at your own pace. Nothing's changing with the length of the breath. Relaxing deeper into the flow. Loosening the grip of many muscles, any tension you might still be carrying. Inhaling from heart to crown. Exhaling from crown to throat. Feeling your awareness at the throat center. Inhaling up the face, the nostrils, the eyes, the center of the forehead, all the way to the crown. Exhaling from crown to throat. Inhaling from throat to crown. Exhaling from crown to third eye, the center of the forehead. Inhaling from the forehead to the crown. Exhaling from crown to forehead. And then gently settling your awareness at the center of the forehead. Feeling the expansion and contraction of your breath here. Completely relaxed. And now you have an option. You could stay lying for this last section, or you can sit up very gently, keeping your eyes closed if possible, if not, your gaze downward, and finding a comfortable seat. If you'd like this last part to be more of a meditation. So choose your position now and gently sitting up if you wish to do so. And again, we're focusing all of our awareness at the center of the forehead. We're coming back to that balanced, even breath, cultivating an even, continuous inhale and exhale. Where there's no tension, there's no grip. An effortless effort. And we're going to circle around different parts of the body. And as I name these parts, you'll take one full breath at each, meaning one full inhale and exhale. Now, I could be going a little bit faster than is your full breath, maybe a little bit slower. It's really impossible. It's different for everyone. And so you might need to catch up at one point. You might need to slow down. Please breathe at a rate that feels comfortable to you, knowing that this is a practice that's best done on your own so you can fully control the length of the breath. But for now, when it's guided like this, you'll just do your best. You might skip over a spot or not. Beginning with the center of the forehead, take 3 full, complete breaths here. All your awareness to the center of the forehead. The space between the eyebrows. One breath. The inner corners of the eyes. Again, one breath unless I say otherwise. The nostrils. The throat. The shoulders. The upper arms. The elbows. The wrists. The palms of the hands. The tips of the fingers. 2 breaths. The palms of the hands. the wrists, the elbows, the upper arms, the shoulders, the throat, the center of the chest, the lowermost ribs, the navel, the pelvis, and the base of the spine. 2 breaths here. The pelvis, navel, the lowermost ribs, the center of the chest, throat, nostrils, inner corners of the eyes, the center between the eyebrows, the center of the forehead. And continue your awareness here, the center of the forehead. Feeling this presence of awareness, feeling it expand on inhalation and contract on exhalation. Feel a receiving on inhalation and a letting go as you exhale. When you're ready, you can gently blink the eyes open, keeping your gaze lowered just for a moment. And then fully opening the eyes, reorienting yourself and tuning in, noticing how that feels in the subtle body and in the physical body. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you again.